Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with a tutorial today showing you how to paint the new Chaos Lord Vashtorr. A very different model than anything we've really seen before. He seems kind of tricky to paint, and there's definitely a few bits that are a little bit more difficult than others, but hopefully this video will help you guys to get it done in a quick and efficient manner. It is nothing you guys cannot do if you follow the steps in this video. So I hope you guys stick around and enjoy the video. Before we get into it, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all of my active patrons. Without you guys, I couldn't keep the lights on and the cameras rolling. If anyone's on the fence and thinking about joining the Patreon, some of the benefits you get are: 1, a private Discord server where you get to talk about your hobby on a daily basis and take part in events, and 2, you get a custom video every single week. So that's 52 extra videos a year. This week's video is actually K9 from the new Arbite squad, from the new box of Kill Team, so that's really cool, and all my patrons got to see that. Okay guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay guys, like I said in the intro, this model seems quite scary to paint, and I'm not gonna lie, I was apprehensive about painting it myself. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't really know where I was gonna start. Even what color I was going to spray it was up for debate. Which way around I was gonna do. Was I gonna make it easy to paint the skin, or was I gonna pick easy to paint the metallics? In the end, I think he has more metallics on him, and I think it was easier for me to give him a spray of silver than it would be to spray him a lighter color to start with the skin. So he got a coat of black and then a coat of silver. Now after that, I started working up the skin. So I started with Rakarth Flesh, and I just had to very carefully pick out all of the skin parts on this miniature, which once you realize, below his knee is just bionics. It's basically just thighs, some torso, and a little bit of arm. There's not a lot to him when it comes to skin. Although you do have to take your time because he does have bionics weaving in and out of every single part of the flesh. So this may not be the most complicated part of the painting process, but it's definitely the bit you need to take the most care with. You need to be careful not to paint over any of those metallic parts because they will just get lost in the paint job later on. Especially for me, it was very difficult around the hip area. I still don't know whether even I got it right with the parts that I thought were skin, or were they metallic. I'm not 100% sure. After I did get all of the skin on, I moved over to Retributor Armour Gold and painted the entire armor gold, so all the armor panels on this miniature. If you pay attention to the picture, all of the trim on the armor is bronze and all of the flat parts of the armor are gold. So I thought the best way to do this and the quickest way was just to paint the entire armor gold and then go back in and trim the rest with brass or bronze after that. So that's what I did. We got Retributor Armour Gold and applied that to all of the armor panels. The bit all across his back, the bit on top of his gauntlet, obviously the huge bit coming down his chest. This is one of those times where I'm going to tell you guys to trust the process. Just keep watching. I promise you it pays off. Balthasar Gold, which I know it says gold, but it's actually quite bronzy, is then used for all of the trim. This, I believe, is probably the most tedious section of painting this miniature. Like I said, it's not that complicated, but this model has a lot of trim. Way more than you would expect, since there's got so many armor panels, and then those wings are basically half silver, half bronze, and every second part is a different color. So you literally just have to take your time, use the reference pictures of the miniature, and paint the correct bits of brass. And I'm not going to lie, like I said, probably took me 40-45 minutes to do all the brass on this miniature. I was listening to an audiobook at the time, so I was in siege heaven, but yeah, just know that it is a bit that will take you some time. You can see now with the wings how much is bronze and how much is silver, but we're getting there. Black Templar is then used for all of the pipe work, and the horns that are protruding from his head are going to get a coat of Black Templar. This is a very quick and very easy step. Now the next thing that we're going to do after we pick out all the pipe work and the horns is to wash the miniature. This is where I'm going for the new Druchii Violet. This model has a sickly purple tinge to the skin, and I decided to just play that off across the entire model. Purple is a beautiful color to shade gold with. Does nothing bad to silver either. So I think this will add a really nice effect to the entire miniature. And as you can see right now, the model is a bit of a mess. It looks like he has white creamy skin and all sorts of horrible metallics everywhere. But just wait until this shade dries and I get the miniature based up, which is the next scene that you will see in this video. I promise you, it makes an absolutely huge difference getting that shade on, especially defining all of the skin. Even his face now looks like a blob. You can't really tell the detail on what's going on. The shade is going to do absolute wonders for picking out all those details so that when we move on to the layering stage, we know exactly where we need to put our paint. As you can see straight across the face, and you can see it already settling into all those cracks and recesses and already starting to really define that face for us. And it was only after the shade had dried that I then start to feel more confident about the process and where I was going. Like right now, I'm like, this model's turning out pretty nice. I'm liking where this is going. I'm excited to see the end of it. And it's funny how one step can make you feel that way. So up until now, a lot of painters would have gotten to halfway through and gone, you know what, this isn't working out. I quit. I'm done. Put it on a shelf, never pick it up again. Just power through, get the model finished. I promise you, you'll be proud of it by the end. Ulthuan Grey is then the color I chose to layer up all of the skin. Once again, I know you think this is probably quite a pale color. His skin is quite sickly and pale, but we are not trying to go for total coverage. All of his skin is basically overstretched over this frame. You can see those lines of stretch work basically as clear as day on the miniature. So when we highlight them, we're just going to use the Ulthuan Grey on those higher parts, and we're going to leave all those nice deep lined recesses with the purple shaded skin. So as you can see, this part here, see, I'm just going in one direction with that muscle stretch, and all I'm doing is lines. Very easily achievable stage. Nothing much to it, just get a fine pointed brush and take your time. You'll see it now when it jumps to the next stage where the entire skin is painted. And that's when I started to go from, this will work too. I'm actually quite proud of this paint job when I got that skin done. From here, we're going to work on the metallics. And as you guys know, I love using silver to highlight gold and silver. I think it works an absolute treat. It helps tie all the metallics together. So that's what I'm going to do here. It's really going to test my theory to the limits, as it's gold and bronze and silver. But I still think it worked a treat. And as you can see, all I'm doing is these little dot highlights on the gold and bronze, and then normal highlighting on all the metallic parts. And all we're going for is the sharpest points on the metallic parts for the gold and bronze, and then the flat surfaces for the silver. It's most evident on things like the big crazy bladed wings when it gets to the bronze, but as you can see, I'm just stabbing it a little bit, a few tiny highlights along the way. I'm not doing any like one brush stroke to put silver all the way down. That's not the effect I'm trying to get to. But when I switch to painting the blade, as you can see, I'm putting on basically paint strokes with that because I want that flat part of the silver blade to be quite solid and to give that kind of razor sharp, keen edged look. This is once again a stage that will take a little bit of time. Usually it's quite quick, but there's just so much of it across this model that you want to take your time. I got a pure white then, and I painted in his eye sockets and anywhere else that I thought would be really cool for him to glow, which mainly was on the hammer. It's got a bunch of swirly cracks all the way down the shaft of it. And then on the flat end where he smacks people, there's a big cracks running through the top of that. Those are going to go white. And then inside the vents on the side of the hammer are also going to get a coat of white. This is just a base coat for a contrast red that we're going to throw down on top of this and give it a really nice glow effect. Quick and easy, super effective without needing to do so much work. So you see the white in the eyes, bit of Blood Angel's red contrast, and then just paint it over the eyes. It immediately goes kind of dark around the outside and bright in the middle, so it does give you that really nice glow effect without actually spending lots of time painting a glowing eye lens. And we're going to do the same thing on the hammerhead. Just loading up the brush with the Blood Angel red contrast and then making sure I paint over all of the white parts. And basically filling those cracks with the red paint and just letting it do its thing. After that, we have our finished Vashtorr ready to lead some chaos armies into battle. Super pleased with this. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I really hope that it helps you get yours painted as well. And there we have it, Vashtorr ready to lead his Ark of Omen in search of a crazy weapon that will tip the balance of power in the 41st millennium. Like I said, hopefully this dissuaded some of your fears about getting this miniature and painting it up. And you could see how easy it is to get that done. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like. Ask me any questions you want in the comments below. I will get back to each and every one of you guys. If you're not already subscribed, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It really does make a huge difference to me. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.